Hello. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not doing a makeup tutorial, as you can see by my glasses, which I don't wear when I'm putting on a lot of makeup. I need them because I'm going to be reading, because today I'm going to be delving into the internet and getting into the discourse a little bit, the drama, which, you know, we gays love. And speaking of gays, I'm going to be talking about something that's been going on in the LGBTQIA plus community recently that I've been noticing. It's not something I've really noticed before. It's kind of weird how it's like kind of come into the light a bit this year. I don't know if that makes sense. It's probably been an issue for a long time. I just haven't really noticed it being so like hardcore until this June, specifically this Pride season. And that is people saying that asexuals and also aromantics don't belong in the LGBTQIA community. I was shook. Like I had heard of like acephobia and aphobia and all that stuff, but I'd never really actually seen it or witnessed it myself. And then I actually started seeing it and I was like, oh, this is actually a thing that exists. I didn't know that it was actually a thing that exists. And I know it's not a lot of people. Like, it's definitely not like the majority of the people in the LGBTQIA community, but it's there and I've actually seen it. And I want to address it, see what people are saying about it. And I want to see if I can argue against their logic and explain why I think that asexual people and aromantic people definitely do belong in the LGBTQIA community. So without further ado, I'm going to get my laptop. Okay, this is gonna be kind of hard. So first place I'm going to go to look, and maybe the only, I'm not sure. I might have to go elsewhere. We'll see. But the first place I'm going to go look is tumblr.com, because that's where I saw my dose of ace discourse. So let's see, I'm going to search, what should I search? Let's do asexuals don't belong at Pride. Let's see what that comes up with, if anything. Okay, here's one. And so this is an anonymous person. I'm not gonna like name any names or anything. And they say, anyway, cis-het asexual people aren't LGBT and don't belong in Pride. Okay, so first of all, actually, let me go ahead and just for anyone who's like new or doesn't actually know, let me define at least what to me asexuality is. Basically, at its like very like minimal definition, asexuality is the sexual orientation which is basically not having a sexual orientation or not being sexually attracted to other people or just other people. Asexuality is a spectrum, just like a lot of things in the LGBT community. And I'm not going to get into that too much in this video. Let me know if you want me to get into it, because I have lots of thoughts and feelings on the subject. But basically, it's a spectrum. But at its very core, like without like bringing in stuff like gray sexual or demisexual, which are also on the A spectrum and are very valid and are also definitely welcome at Pride. Asexuality is basically just not being sexually attracted to other people. Like, it does not necessarily mean that like you're sex repulsed and you don't like sex. That is not inherently part of asexuality, although it can be. Like, people who are sex repulsed are asexual. They're on the spectrum if they want to be. Like, again, labels, they're all labels. Like, you label yourself how you want. I'm not gonna get into that. Labels are a whole other topic of controversy. But anyway, so this person says, cis-het asexual people aren't LGBT and don't belong in Pride. Okay, first of all, okay, no, you're right. Technically, you're right about the first part. Asexual people aren't LGBT, you know, necessarily, although they can be, but LGBT, you know, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, although you can easily be a transgender asexual, so I don't know, you know, moving past that though, there's a reason the acronym is longer than that now. It's because the LGBTQIA plus community is trying to be more diverse. And by doing that, we're including the other letters. So like, especially important is the Q, which stands for queer or questioning. And because queer is kind of like the umbrella term that if you're not like specifically gay, or if you just have like a lot of stuff like me, my main identification for myself is I'm just queer, because there's a whole bunch to unravel there. And so there's a reason the acronym is longer, and that's because that's to be more inclusive. Here, let's go back to the first thing. Cishet. Okay. Usually when people say het, they mean heterosexual, right? Let me just clear something up. You can't be heterosexual and asexual. Asexual is your sexual orientation. And while asexuality is a spectrum, heterosexuality is not on the asexuality spectrum. And that's because heterosexuality is being attracted to people of the opposite gender exclusively. Sexually attracted. When you're asexual, you're not sexually attracted to anyone. That's kind of the point. Not heterosexual if you're asexual. So what they're meaning here is that like, oh, if you're hetero-romantic, I guess, or they just don't know what asexuality is. But there are plenty of people who are hetero-romantic who are also like a different, like you can be bisexual hetero-romantic. So like you are sexually attracted to people of multiple genders, but you only want to be in a romantic relationship with someone of the opposite gender. And that's like, you're still bisexual if you're like that. You're not heterosexual. So no asexual person can actually be cishet. So yeah. Here's another one. Cishet aces should feel uncomfortable and unwelcome in the LGBT community because they are not welcome. Again, basically the same argument. Like, why do people keep saying cishet aces? Like, again, there's no such thing. And you can't be heterosexual and asexual at the same time. And I don't know what's so weird about that. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna talk. Okay. Here's something to throw at you. Why are people so against hetero, like cishets being at Pride? I get it. Pride is not necessarily like for people who are cisgendered and heterosexual, because they're like the privileged people. But there are so many reasons that cisgender heterosexual people should be at Pride. You should be at Pride if you're supporting a friend or family member, or lots of friends or family members who are part of the LGBTQIA plus community. You should be at Pride if you're a member of the Black Lives Matter movement, because these two movements need to stand together. We need to be together. And if you're a Black person who is cisgender and heterosexual, but you want to make your voice heard at Pride, you should be at Pride. If you just want to show your support for the community, you should be at Pride. The whole point of being LGBTQIA plus is that we're supposed to be inclusionists. We're supposed to not exclude and discriminate against people at all. And there's not really anything wrong with cisgender heterosexual people being at Pride. Which asexual people are not heterosexual. But even if, like, that somehow magically was a thing, which is not, it would still be fine. You can still go to Pride. Anyone can go to Pride as long as they're not bad people who are trying to mess it up for everyone, like protesters and other people who I'm not going to get into at this point in time. But yeah, like, there's really nothing more to it. If you're part of the community, even if you're just like an accomplice, you are just trying to support the community in any way, you should be allowed to be at Pride. And asexual people are queer, okay? One of the arguments I've seen against asexual people being at Pride is that asexual people are not discriminated against and that they're straight passing. Listen, no. Asexual people aren't discriminated against necessarily, maybe in like the same ways, but there is still a lot of discrimination going on. For one thing, from other LGBTQIA people, or probably not that, more like the people who are just the LGBT people. discriminate against asexuals by saying they can't be in Pride. So we get discrimination from our own community, and that's just stupid. But also, like, you get discrimination from people who don't understand. So for instance, people who like don't want to, you know, be in a romantic relationship with an asexual person because so many people think sex is so important. And a lot of asexuals, not all asexuals, but a lot of asexuals don't want sex to be part of a relationship, and that's fine. But we live in such a sexualized world that it's completely expected, and so we get discriminated against, or we get called broken, or like, you know, we're seen as something that can be fixed, or we're seen as immature, or there's all sorts of things, or just like, it's something that people just really don't understand. Even people in the LGBTQIA plus community just really don't understand what it is like to be asexual. Like, it's something that's so hard to explain. It's something that's so misunderstood that, yeah, there is discrimination and there are hardships. And honestly, most asexual people I know, including myself, we're queer in other ways too. Like, we're either not heteroromantic, or we're not cisgender, or we're not any of those things, and we're just really, really queer. Like, people who say, like, oh, cishet asexuals should not be a Pride. Why? Okay, no, you are actually, like, that's just aphobia at this point. Asexual people are queer. Even if you are cisgender, heteroromantic, asexual, you're still queer. You're still different and weird and probably discriminated against at least a little bit. Even if it's not that much, like, there's still gonna be something there. Like, there's a reason that there aren't a lot of people that come out, like, and say they're asexual. There's a reason we don't have a lot of asexual, like, celebrity icons and stuff. It's because people don't want to admit that they're asexual, because people think it's weird. They think it's immature. They think we're broken. And we're not. There's a lot of asexual people. I have so many friends who are asexual, and we're not friends because we're asexual. We just kind of all figured out, whoa, we're just all asexual. We just kind of banded together. It wasn't on purpose or anything. But that's because there's a lot of asexual people in the world. But nobody really wants to admit that, because you're gonna get discriminated against. Like, if you go on Facebook and like, hey, I'm asexual, people are gonna be like, that's not real, or you just haven't found the right person yet, or you just haven't had the right kind of sex yet. That's my favorite one, is, oh, you just haven't had the right kind of sex yet. Just wait till you get with me, or something. That's my favorite. That makes me want to punch people in the face. But yeah, I've said some pretty rapey things too when I tell people I'm asexual, and it's not fun. I have definitely been discriminated against. And honestly, okay, here's the thing, is I am queer. I'm not just asexual. My gender is something else. That's for a whole nother video to try to figure out what my gender is. But I am, like, I'm pan-romantic. Like, I've had a girlfriend. Come on. I'm not hetero-romantic. But here's the thing, is that I have had more people discriminate against me or like be weird to me for being asexual than I have for being pan-romantic or having a weird gender. Like, yeah, it's actually crazy how that happens. Like, I remember this very specific conversation when I was trying to explain to these two guys who I was friends in high school that I was asexual, and they just did not get it, and they really actually just thought that, like, oh, I just had bad sex. Like, no, because it's not even, for me, it's not about sex, like the act of sex. It's about the fact that I don't feel sexual attraction, and that has nothing to do with sex. Because people really don't understand. And honestly, there are a lot of asexual people. A lot of them don't like sex. A lot of them are completely fine with sex, or sex indifferent or something. But, like, people just don't understand asexuality is basically what I'm trying to get at. And people don't understand that asexual people are queer. We are part of the LGBTQIA community. So, in conclusion, asexual people definitely belong at Pride. We belong in the LGBTQIA plus community. Anyone who says otherwise is ignorant, and there's not much we can do about that. But honestly, I've seen much more support for asexuals than I have like backlash against them, and that's really encouraging. It's really not that many people. It's the minority that are really making their voice heard. It's like, it's probably the same people who are saying, like, oh, take the B out of LGBT. Like, no. You know, it's all weird. These people belong less in the LGBTQIA community than asexuals do. If they're those kind of people, then they're being hateful, they're being discriminatory, and I don't want them at Pride. Honestly, I don't want those people at Pride. I don't think they belong at Pride. If you're gonna be hateful, you don't belong at Pride. Asexuals, we belong at Pride. And I really hope, if you're asexual and you're watching this, please don't be discouraged by what people are saying about us. Come to Pride. Even if you are a cisgendered, hetero-romantic asexual, you still belong. And yeah, you know, please celebrate that, because you're cool and you're special and there are others like you. And you're not broken. I promise. You're fine. Just be you. That's it, basically. I know this is kind of a different video, but I just really wanted to get that kind of stuff off my chest. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you have any comments. I know I probably didn't get out all the arguments in this video, but that's because I got heated. And I meant for this to be a little less passionate, but that's not how I work. So sorry about that, but you know, what are you gonna do? But yeah, let me know what you think about all this stuff. Let me know if you like these kind of videos. I really want to do more videos like this where I just talk about problems going on in the LGBTQIA plus community, because it's really a big deal to me, guys. Like, I love this community. We have problems, like people are hateful and mean in this community, but I love this community. I do everything I can to be in it as much as possible. And I just really want to talk about this kind of stuff. I don't want to just like let it slide under the radar. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you like these kind of videos. Let me know if you think I should stick to makeup tutorials. If you think I should delete my channel, please don't tell me that, because I'll be sad and I won't delete my channel because I'm also spiteful. So yeah, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was kind of different. I hope you enjoyed me. As always, please feel free to subscribe and like, and I don't know, whatever you want to do, hit me up. We can be friends. I like new friends. But yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.